Iyer.
Hello.
Those are the two folks that really kind of form the lifeblood of BITSA organization here in the Bay Area. And there's of course Bhargav. Where is Bhargav? Bhargav Adala. These are all the youngsters that really keep this organization running. I can't say enough good things about what each of these people.
Then we talk fast.
Yeah, I know. And so I also wanted to, hopefully some of you had a chance to meet, but we also have a very special guest here today. And somebody asked me, hey, are we going to have anybody from this? Or, I said, well, it's not really planned that way. If they happen to be here, that's fine. But I think we did a little bit better than that. We actually have the wife of one of our, directors and one of our favorite professors back in BITS Pilani. That's Mrs. Rao. Dr. B.S. Rao. And if you didn't already know, their daughter Praveena, she's also here. And Sanila, Nishikant, that's as Pitsian as any family can get. So, anyway, just very quickly, I know I have had the opportunity to interact with many of you over the last few months with BITSA. As you probably know, it's an all-volunteer organization. There are several people, those legends like Prem Jain and Satish, who really helped start this organization several years back, and I'm just kind of following them, really in their tradition, hopefully, with all your support. And I've had the chance to meet a lot of BITSians in different cities over the last 6 months. Fortunately for me now, I've got a little bit more time on my hand, and with my company now being bought out by Hitachi. So out of that process and with the BITSA board, we came up with kind of 3 high-level objectives, if you will. The first is governance, which is really to establish a BITSA organization that really represents the alumni body, which is truly global, right? It's not just Silicon Valley or other places. And so even the BITSA board, we have expanded that now to include, and we're still in that process. And governance is both within BITSA, but also in terms of our interaction with BITS Pilani. And my friend Vicky, I'd like him to say a few words right after this. He's actually done just a phenomenal job in that, just extending the interactions with BITS Pilani. And BITS also formed a new alumni advisory council. So this is the first time they've ever done that, right? They've picked people from different places in different, academia and industry. It's very impressive indeed what they're trying to do. I really see this as sort of a new energy and enthusiasm at BITS Pilani towards sort of, better governance. So that's the first one. The second is really building an ecosystem in 2 main areas. One is research and entrepreneurship. BITS Pilani itself is now pursuing research very aggressively. Just to give you a data point, today we have, I'm told, like about 230 or 240 PhDs between all the 4 campuses. Their goal is to grow that to a little over 900 by 2015 and 1650 or something like that by 2020. It's a very ambitious goal, and a lot of this is being driven by Dr. Kumar Mangala Birla himself. He's personally devoting a lot of time to truly making this into one of the top 3 institutions in Asia, one of the best in the world, right? And so ecosystem to promote both research and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is something that there are just legends here, right here. There's several entrepreneurs and venture capitalists and executives here, right here in this gathering. And Silicon Valley, of course, is one of the best places for that. But there's a lot happening in India also these days. And some of you just, to give you an example, probably many of you met Panindra Samant, I think about 3 months ago when he was out here. He runs a wonderful company called Redbus. That's now India's #1 consumer internet company. They do more than eBay, more than Amazon in India. And this guy is growing at 2 to 3x, each year. Just a phenomenal story. In fact, I just met him a couple of weeks ago. He was a young 26-year-old when he started, and he's 30 or 30 months, something like that now. But so there's a lot of that happening in India. And there are several other companies that are starting to come out of BITS, right? And that's an initiative that actually, where is Chandra?
Yeah, I'm here.
Chandra.
But you can come.
Chandra is a BITS board member, so he's actually driving that initiative. It's called Project Spark, along with Abhinav Kushraj and Vijay Sharma. Vijay is based in Bangalore, Abhinav in New York. And there's some very exciting things happening. So if any of you have an interest in that space around entrepreneurship, what we can do to promote and kind of grow the BITS brand identified with entrepreneurship, please do talk to Chandra. And so the last really very significant sort of initiative that I think you'll start to hear about in the coming weeks is what's called Bridges to the Future. That came out of the BGM. Any of you been there at BGM? So that was just fantastic. It was the first time ever a lot of BITS alumni got together, right, in Delhi, and used a lot of energy and all that. So out of that was this initiative, what we call Bridges to the Future. Essentially, it's in 3 or 4 different areas, but I'll let Viggy and Prem talk about it. One of the sort of flagship initiatives within that is what we are calling BITS Connect 2.0. And that's what these youngsters were trying to get the video up and running. I think they're going to give us a preview of BITS Connect 2.0, right? Is that right, Rob?
Yeah, sure.
So with that, I'd just like Viggy to share a few thoughts on, because he's the one who's driving the Bridges to the Future, a lot of the governance initiatives, and I tell you, we just made phenomenal progress just in the last few months in engaging with BITS, because without that, we just really can't make the progress we need to.
I wouldn't do any of this if this fellow had not asked me to come on board. So real quickly, 6 years ago or 5 years ago, my batch went back to Pilani for a Silver Jubilee reunion. And at the reunion, like everybody, we get together and we fast dining table and say, what can we do for BITS? And the discussion was amazing. It was, if there were 10 people in the room, there were about 20 opinions about what we should do, right? And there's absolutely no coalescing on what needs to be done. And that's one batch. And we have 50 batches. And we're the premier private institute of the country with no unified alumni body. And so that has always been bugging me, right? And so we have thriving BITSA Silicon Valley Association, or you've got BITSA New Delhi or Hyderabad, etc. And we're so divided. So the thing that energizes me most of all is what is happening right now is a brand new administration, of course led by Kumar Mangalam Birla, who's a young 40-some-year-old fellow who's just a visionary, and Dr. Jain, who is the new chancellor, a chance to get, with no baggage, and a momentum among the alumni to start something new. So what we have been able to do, it seems, right, is, and a backup here is great credit to the founders of BITSA International. A lot of hard work. The youngsters have really put in a lot of hard work to set the infrastructure. But BITSA International has always been perceived as a USA-based organization. So fast forward after the BGM, we've worked with BITS to say we need to unite. Ultimate goal is to have like a BITSA alumni endowment of something, of some sort, like endowments here in the US. Why can't we have that if we're united? So, to cut a long story short, lots of negotiations, and Pilani BITS administration has agreed that BITSA International is the representative of all alumni associations worldwide. We have a memorandum of understanding that many of us worked hard to drive with BITS. It's got signatures from all kinds of people at BITS, which basically says BITSA represents all BITSians worldwide. Raju has traveled the globe uniting BITSA Singapore, BITSA Madras, BITSA Bombay, etc., etc. So the chapters are all coming under. So it's a great opportunity for us to build something. And one of the things that has bedeviled people is we want to give, but we want to give and know what happens with it. And just in the course of the evening, I heard from a few people that said, the intention is there, but to get it done has been frustrating. Meaning, we give money, we don't know where it goes. This memorandum of understanding, I'm happy to tell you, is one where we have finally agreed that all our efforts, whatever money we generate, will be, if we transfer it to BITS, will be in a separate account, earmarked for BITSA Alumni Association. The CFO of BITSA International will have daily online read-only access. So if you contribute money and you tell him, you can see online saying that money has appeared. So there's no question of calling, emailing, what has happened to this money and disburse this check, none of that stuff. You get real-time transparency to funds. And accounting for funds, if you write a check and you say, I want my $1,000 to go to BitsConnect 2.0, they've agreed to say, I will account for it this way. There is an annual audited statement that we will get that shows full accounting, right? And there is an Office of Alumni Affairs that has been created with Professor Raman, Director of BITS Goa, so a director level guy in charge for Alumni Affairs to talk to us guys. So the stars are all aligning very nicely. I think we've got a very forward-thinking administration at BITS. And then I think, those of us who are getting to be in our 50s, 60s, whatever, are feeling like, it's like, now is the time to do something, do or die kind of thing. So stars are aligning, and so where do we take it from here, right? So one of the criticisms that I want to make you all aware of, BITSians have complained to me and others here that we want to do something, but we don't get transparency, we don't get responsiveness. The thing that I hear from the other side, from BITS administration, is a lot of talk for not enough funds raised or not enough action. And it's a very valid criticism. Don't bust my chops until you've really done something significant, right? And I completely agree with that. So our opportunity here with the Bridges to Future campaign is, to aim big. We have about 50 batches. There are 50 batches, and if you take the law of averages, you say half of them are more than 25 years out of Pilani. We are at the stage in our life where the kids' tuitions are more or less paid for. So at this point we are thinking about what we can do for the alma mater. There's a good opportunity here for us to raise some decent funds. Now, my natural inclination would be to aim for a very big nut in terms of the first year goal for raising funds, but I'm a realist and I'm tempered by my buddy here. He keeps pulling me down. So we set a very modest goal of $1 million for Bridges to the Future. Now let me put that $1 million in context. The class of 1981 that Raju and myself and Ajay and Brahmaji and Subhashish represent here and Lajpat represent here, I will go on record right now saying we are on for $200,000 of that $1 million. We are there, right? Because we're most of the way there in terms of our fundraising. So $1 million should be a layup, in my opinion. Should be a layup. Second thing is, you start off with a modest goal, and then I think the administration will say, this is serious stuff. And the thing is about what do you want to spend money on? And there at the Delhi meeting, VGA, we had a little discussion, side discussion for maybe 5 minutes. We said there needs to be an alumni body that advises BITS or that engages with BITS to say, what is the alumni money supposed to be spent on? We don't want to just raise the money and have you spend it on, I don't know, lights for the museum lawn, whatever it is. We want to have a voice in it. And to BITS's great credit, and there's this guy, Chris Ramachandran, I love this guy. He's phenomenal. He just took that, ran with it. There is a board of 15 or 16 illustrious BITSians who represent the voice of the alumni. They have an audience with Kumar Mangalam Birla, B.N. Jain, the directors, and everybody else. Okay? So, right here in this room, we were Raju on that board, we got Prem on that board. I think the two of you, right? In this room. The two of you on that board. So,
Saraswat.
And Professor Saraswat, who's not here in this room, but he's also represented on that board. So, our voice is very well represented. So, they sit at a table and they say, BitsConnect 2.0, that's a slam dunk. That's what we need to spend some money on. So our representation is there, transparency is there, organization is there, representation is there. And so I think the formula is just right. So we are 30, 40 of us here in the Bay Area, right? Spread the word around, and the chapter ambassadors or the batch ambassadors are being put together. So formula is just absolutely perfect. So
just one thing if I may add, I mean the idea is just whatever anyone is comfortable with. It doesn't have to be money, it's time, whatever each one is. One thing we are trying to do though is to get this sort of annual giving.
yeah,
Even if it is $100 a year, whatever, right? Something that just keeps you engaged with the campus and with what's happening at BITS. And honestly, I'll tell you, there are a lot of good reasons why it's not just, there's so much happening with the youngsters. At least entrepreneurship is an area that I'm certainly very actively involved with some of the companies that they're starting. So there could be a lot of other benefits that each of you may derive from it too. Just staying engaged with BITS will think of it that way too. But yeah, I would never say so and so money. I'm pretty sure between all of us we'll be able to get the $1 million. I think that's going to be a slam dunk by the time we're all done with it. But again, in perspective, in the last 4 or 5 years, collectively we have raised about $250,000. So it's not like, so that's the reason why there's $1 million.
that's because we don't have a purpose. We don't
Exactly.
we don't have a goal to shoot for, right? So the last time we had a common goal, Prem, you should talk about this.
I think that's a good lead in that.
Yeah. So one other thing I'll say about the changing mood of Pilani. I'll give you an anecdote. The class of, when we were in our Silver Jubilee reunion, we sat down with Professor R.K. Mittal, a few of us, and we said, what can we do? And I remember very clearly him saying, we don't want your money. I mean, literally like this. We don't want your money. And I'm like, really? And the summary of it was, the Birlas have enough money. That's not what we want. You guys will come with money, and you guys will come with some demands. And this is a Birla institution, it's not yours. I mean, that's the attitude he projected. And then he proceeded to tell us the story of a class of 1965 or 66 or something like that, who raised a bunch of money for the refurbishment of the S block. And all they wanted was a little plaque put up there to say, class of 1956. And at that point, Aditya Birla or whoever the Birla was basically said nothing to it. The only name that goes here is Birlas. Now fast forward to 2011, the Birlas are talking about endowed professorships. If any of you wants to cough up $100,000 US, you can get a professorship named after a name that you want.
Actually, I think it's less than that.
It's 44
lakhs.
45 lakhs. 44 lakh rupees.
So when they set it up,
So-
it was 100,000.
You have 44 lakhs to put up. You can name a professorship guaranteed to be in your name for 20 years. Now I am just dumbfounded. What happened in the last 6 years? Right?
Market share.
I think it's Kumar Mangalam Birla and Professor Jain. There's a bunch of outsiders who have come and said, this is 2011. We want to compete with the New York universities, the Columbias who want to set up shop in India. We have to survive. Indian government is establishing 15 IITs. Where are they going to recruit their staff from? From BITS. You want to survive? You've got to have endowed chairs that a professor is proud to sit in. They have realized this. So it's all a very different equation here. So anyway, one of the greatest fundraising efforts that I've ever seen, Brother Jen, Brother Ben. So,
by the way, thanks to everybody who helped in the PGM. I think that was a great help, and a lot of people couldn't go because of the timing or because it was in the first week of January. But next time I would like to see everybody who is here to attend the next PGM, which is also, I think, the planning process will start soon. So that's one. Second is, as you know very well, 2003, we kicked off when a couple of us met here in the Silicon Valley, and this concept of BITS Connect 1.0 came out. And that got executed very rapidly, and with the support of a lot of people who are in this room, and substantial amount of money. I mean, this $1 million which you're talking about, that time we were able to raise close to $600,000. And the project was basically wiring the BITS campus so that anybody in the campus or at faculty houses or in the library is connected to the internet with the latest, greatest technology to make sure that it can be leveraged in voice over IP, telephone systems, and wireless, and security, and you just name it, everything which we possibly able to do it, and was done by Wipro, and Vivek Paul was the number 2 person at that particular time in Wipro, and very successful. We followed through for a couple of years, make sure it is being, all the money which we collected went to that particular cause, and it was perceived as one of the things which we gave it back to BITS in that particular sense, and very successful. And by the way, they gave us in that particular library, I think there's a plaque, which is the names of a bunch of people are there in that particular thing.
It was one exception.
There's one exception.
There was one exception where BITS took money from non-billers.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was very successful. So during the BGM process, we were brainstorming what we need to do next. One other thing happened is that the rating of the BITS dropped compared to when we did 2003. The BITS was in the top 3 or top 5. Now it is, I don't know the exact rating this year, but it dropped. So we were talking about what are the kind of things that you can do to bring that back to the brand as a #1 university of, with the technology caliber which we have. And there are some fundamental issues. Infrastructure has always played an important role when you look at these ratings. They always look for what kind of infrastructure you got and stuff like that. When we did the BITS Connect one, that was very well received in that particular sense. So during this particular thing, we talked about this Bridges to the Future has certain categories. So one of them is basically student enrichment. Whatever you want to do it for student enrichment, that entrepreneurship program is a really great program under that particular category. The second one, we talked about is faculty enrichment. And the third one is doing something for the community. So we are trying to put into the buckets, and the fourth one is like general fund, basically, which is, you collect the funds and you can have scholarship, you can do a couple of other stuff out of it. So the vision here is, I think, is much bigger than what I'm going to talk about in a few seconds is BITS Connect 2.0. So out of this discussion, there's one of us, Shashikant, actually, who came up with this idea, and he's doing this video, lectures for now, 3 years?
Yeah, more than that.
More than 3 years. And we have, people anywhere in the world can go and basically give a talk to the BITSians, and there's like 60, 100 different people, students in the classrooms.
It's called Embryo.
BITS Embryo.
I don't know, some of you probably... yeah. So that worked out. So with that, the concept came is that now we have 5 campuses, and they're kind of isolated with each other, except the communication is through whatever the technology is available on the internet and stuff like that. So can we really bring this into a different level of experience? So what we decided to do, and there's a whole team of people, Alap, Abhishek, Rohit, we are on a call on a regular basis, and there is a whole marketing team, fundraising team. On a regular basis, at least twice, thrice a week for last 3-4 months. Okay, these people are really working very hard and doing very thorough due diligence. First is to nail down the requirements. So first we decided to make sure, talk to all the directors and the vice chancellors and BITS. Basically make sure what we want to do it is also their priority. Because we don't want to do something which is we think is a cool idea from technology perspective. And we find out they're not going to leverage it. So it turned out we worked with them, we refined it with their suggestions and stuff like that. So we got a requirement done, nailed down 3 or 4 months ago. And basically with some target. The target is basically is about $800,000 to $900,000. And we are a little bit off the target right now because the current proposals which we have on the table started with $1.8 million. And finally we brought it down to 1.2, but we are still negotiating, and our objective is to get to a $1 million objective in that particular sense. Now this $1 million, which is Vijay was talking about, is the total money which we want to raise for many causes, not just this one. Okay? This one is the agreement which we have with BITS, is they will pay 50% and we will pay 50%. So if suppose it's $800,000 or $900,000, we will pay $400,000 and we'll pay the remaining amount. That's the agreement which we have. What exactly we are trying to do? What we are trying to do is we are creating a video conferencing systems which has multiple facets. First is there will be a conference rooms in each campuses. So in BITS Pilani there will be 18-seater conference room, which will allow you to, you feel like you're in a conference room, and there will be 4 other conferences, other places, including one at Kumar Mangalam's place. so that these directors and the vice chancellors and the faculty members and stuff like that, they can have their virtual conference and they all feel like they're in the same room. This particular technology, is some of you have seen it, is available either from Cisco or is available from Polycom. And we had 7 companies which we started this whole process with. We gave this requirement to 7 companies to come back with their proposals. Finally, we nailed down to 2 of them. So right now is the Polycom and Cisco. We want to make sure that we take the best technologies. Even though I work for Cisco, we put the blinders in that particular sense that let's make sure that we do a thorough due diligence, because it's our money which we're spending. So we need to make sure that it's very transparent. We have the whole process, actually. The whole bidding systems, the requirements, all that is documented. And anybody is interested in looking at it, more eyes we see it, is better it is for us. I mean, in that particular sense. So I'd like to get your feedback in that particular aspect. So one is this video conferencing rooms across the board. That's one. It used to cost, just to give you an example, 2 years ago, if you build a conference room, the cost of that particular conference room was $500,000. Okay? So we are trying to do this whole thing for 5 conference rooms in $800,000. Plus, each director will have their dedicated video conferencing machine. So they can conference with any of those rooms, as well as they can participate in that rooms. And that basically console can also be leveraged by students. So when student leadership wants to talk from one campus to the other campus, they should be able to do a video conference. And we are talking about high definition, very high quality video. And the bandwidth is available in India, so that's not the issue anymore. And it's coming down very, very cost effective, actually, as a matter of fact.
My understanding is when this happens, right, this will really be the most advanced multi-campus interaction technology, period. None of the IITs, nobody else has this.
Yes. So we will be the first one, actually, in any Indian universities to really have this kind of capability. The third idea is basically to create a virtual classroom with 250 students. They will be able to have the professors at a remote site, okay? Or could be in Goa, say for example, because you know that Pilani has always a difficulty attracting professors for the last few years. And people want to go and live in the bigger cities like Goa or Hyderabad and stuff like that. Since we have a campus in Goa, Hyderabad, Dubai, there is a faculty members available and they can come and teach in Pilani. Or the Pilani professor can teach into the other classrooms, or these classrooms can be combined together. So there will be 4 classrooms, 250 seater each. With desk, we'll have the microphones and the cameras in the rooms, so that when a student will feel that the teacher or the professor is present in the classroom itself, and the professor will feel that even though he's remote, that he's also in the classroom. So the idea there is to give this virtual feeling even though these people are remote. And third is to expand this so that the students could be even on the remote sites. And this is a big phenomenon going on right now. India does not allow to give a degree when you are a remote, okay? But you can get a certificates and a bunch of other stuff. So I think that's another area where could be opportunity for BITS to expand in that particular area. To have the students can be at home and they can be part of this video conferencing in the classrooms. So combine this together, it's a very ambitious program actually, because it requires 5 geographical areas to be coordinated and make sure that it works with a very high quality. We are saying we're not going to make compromise in the quality. If the fund required is a little bit more, we may not do everything which I just told you, but our objective is to basically get that thing done. And looking at it, what I know of, it's possible to do it with that particular price range, maybe 100,000 more or less.
I have a question. This is great that what this BITS Connect 2 is a great idea and everything. The question I sometimes get from people is, for Birlas and for the rich people, the rich Birla community there, $500,000, $1 million should be nothing. I mean, if this is something that is very important and is a great idea, why don't they, I'm not saying this for BITS Connect 2, but just for anything that we as a BITS alumni do for giving back to the campus. The question that you will encounter when you go to the BITS alumni to raise funds is, hey, this is peanuts for Birla, why can't they just do it? So everything is like considered, money should be no problem. So you see where I'm coming from?
I think the things are changing very rapidly even in India. The thing is that you're right, I mean they can do it if they want to do it, and The problem is, I think they're changing the model like Vijay is talking about. I think they want to get the alumni more involved, okay, in terms of doing certain things. Now, you can give the money for scholarship, you can give the money for building infrastructure, you can give for this. All this is expenses is going to come out from some pocket.
Right, it's just money, but they want the alumni to get more involved to
I-
raise the brand image.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's easy for any of these big houses to plop $1 million in a charitable. They have a Bill Education Trust. It's already funded. It is used for a lot of. I mean, our roads are shambles. Our hospitals are shambles. If the money was there, Pilani would not look like this. I mean, so money is.
Hire many better professors if you.
No, I'm just talking about even the mechanical facilities are not properly kept. So money is not there. Bill Education Trust is not
I'm not saying
supported.
that it's not a problem, but for a lot of the alumni sitting outside, they think, their thinking is like, so we need to get, I think, past that barrier of people not thinking that, oh, $1 million is nothing. Why should
But I think you bring up a good point that there is a mind shift that has to happen that my BOP is not going to pay.
Exactly. Birla is not going
This
to pay.
is not, it's not going to happen.
And not only will it not happen because of the money, it would not happen anyway. So, the
Yeah,
push
Rashtriya
that.
Fund, again, a couple things, right? One, I mean, BITS itself, but it's a non-profit thing. We don't make, it's not a for-profit thing, right? BITS Pilani
BITS Pilani,
campus
right.
and all that. So this is something that is, I guess, not as fully official, but it should be coming out in the next few months. They're looking to invest something north of 200 crores just into BITS Pilani itself. Just into BITS Pilani campus. So that's a lot of money. And that's all of that is money coming from them. And even for this, like Prem said, half the money will come from BITS Pilani.
Sure.
But one thing Prem, being very modest, we didn't talk about it is there's so much expertise. My sense is, correct me if I'm wrong, Prem, compared to BITS Connect 1.0, there's a lot more knowledge and expertise that being applied to BITS Connect 2.0 on the availability of these technologies, which ones to deploy, how, and all of that, right?
Right, one of the things.
So all of that is expertise too that comes from alumni. So if the alumni puts in half of it and BITS, even in this, if BITS puts half, I mean that's still considerable. And by the way, they do 30% of all students right now have merit come need. A lot of those scholarships come from BITS, from the Birla
I'll give you
family.
one other example is that.
So there is a lot that they do. It's not that.
So I'm not trivializing the money
No,
aspect of it.
No, no,
but-
but
that's fair.
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, the thing is that what we are trying to do it here is state-of-the-art technologies,
That is, I think, the key
which
to it,
will
yeah.
tremendously benefit the students.
Right.
Because think about it, the kind of things which is they're going to participate in it and learn as a part of it. And one of the things which you want to also, make it sure that they can come up with some even better ideas. So we want to make sure the students are very heavily involved. Now, over the time, everybody will try to do this. The
Right.
question is at this time, because first is that it's very state of the art. Some of these things are not even proven. And one of the things which we are trying to do it is that mock up a classroom before even we implement there. I mean, that's the discussion which we are having with the partners and stuff like that. That we really want to find the right technologies. So that this experience, because this virtual experience is not there anywhere. Right?
Not even in the US, then?
Not even in the US. Look at any US universities. I mean, even the most expensive one, they got the telepresence rooms, but they don't have this kind of classroom.
They have webcasts.
There's a fairly substantial OpEx with these things.
Very good
If you look
question.
at people,
Very good questions. And actually, so when we looked at this, we said it's not just the capital cost. So in the plan which we have, everything is being identified. How much is the bandwidth cost is going to be? What is the sustainability cost is, and stuff like that. And that is BITS is going to take care of it on the bandwidth perspective and stuff like that. So it's not just like
One time.
some of the maintenance costs the first year we are going to take it. Okay, as a part of the things which you're going to deploy. But after that, it's going to be the BITS which is going to take it. So there is a money coming from them, substantial commitment to make this happen.
No, this is a great idea.
and the operates,
Everything. 5 years, we want to make sure that when we did the BITS Connect 1.0 is 8 years now. And it's still going.
The more intangible benefit, I think, will come from other BITS alumni to know about it and then participate in future.
What's the
I
what's
What's the time
If I
frame for
remember,
a
it's-
virtual classroom?
This BITS Connect 1.0, the actual costs were like a little under $1 million, more than $1 million. I think we raised about
600 something.
600, I think we raised and some money came. The actual project, if BITS has initiated and tried to do it, probably costs them more than teaching a campus.
That's correct. It's actually true.
Same thing here. This thing will, there's two things being driven. The total expertise of the people and the way we are executing is probably a $3 to $4 million project.
By the way,
That's
if,
what we're trying to do.
yes, Satish brought a very good point. Just want to give you, if this would have been done by BITS themselves, this probably would cost 2.5 times.
I think it's key to highlight that somewhere.
No, that was Raju's point.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
Raju's point.
Yeah.
The sweat equity of
Exactly.
Prem and
Yes.
the team
Yes.
and the negotiation skills
Yes.
are worth a few $1 million.
So I think that needs to be
Even
probably
beyond all
highlighted.
this, right, Lata, just imagination.
And then you can do it.
To come up with something like this that's really ahead of anything available in India. And I don't realize, but I have a lot of campuses here. And that, how do you put value in that? So, there is a
You should talk about the WebEx. But what, there's one,
But there's one more,
WebEx.
there's one more item which I forgot, is the WebEx capability.
Sort of the
I don't know if
hornet's
you-
nest or something.
The WebEx is basically, we are, as a part of this particular thing, we're going to have a 1,000 license of the WebEx, which allows the people to communicate with each other, and actually that will also give us BITSA International the capability of having the conferences, meeting with all these, the batches which we talked about, planning meetings which you do. We are doing right now 3 meetings or 4 meetings in a week for doing all kind of planning, leveraging their WebEx, and it works very well across the board, throughout globally, it works very well. So they will also use that as a part of this particular thing, which is also will be the part of this particular thing. So there are 4 things, like I said: telepresence rooms, the individual video conferencing, the classrooms, and the WebEx.
So the WebEx, just imagine our batch can use that WebEx license to publish a meeting saying, on so-and-so day, this is the URL,
Everybody.
get in there and it's available for us to use. I mean, that's one of the most binding things of the alumni community. There'll be a reservation chart of some sort, book it and use it.
So we each
This
get
is a
the
very
license
important
training.
initiative. I just want to say to you, I mean, there are a lot of other things each of us can do, which is in terms of promoting the BITS brand, right? I'm just thinking, looking around here, Arun Kanchi, he was instrumental in driving that, the robotics initiative along with, of course, my batch. That I'm very proud of, 1981. class
Archie
1981.
thing, right?
Yeah, Arun. And Gopal Garg, he was the first, they started the first practice school here at Cyprus, right?
Ah.
And Vijay, wonderful guy, he's got his own building somewhere in Cupertino area, and he volunteered to make that the permanent office for BITSA and BITSA SPC if you want.
There you go.
And just you go around this, exams called Naveen Best, he's the guy who runs the Time My Story sessions, he's the one who came up with that. And, it's just there are a lot of Bitsons here who do so many other, Raj of course,
Thank you.
who's the venture capital, and last for Lakhanpal, of course, Mr. Atmanirbhar, that's his pursuit, that's the community, development, right?
Yeah, talking about
So-
Atmanirbhar, maybe we can
Can
have
I
one of these conference rooms or things we can conference from there as well. I don't know how to get that plugged into this BITS Connect, but
Definitely, but my point is, there are a lot of things that each of you can do, and please, again, it's not about just giving money. Of course, we would love to have each of you pitch in money, no question. Like this Manoj Saxena works at IBM. He managed to get DST, Department of Science and Technology, to commit to a 5 crore grant to BITS Hyderabad campus. He made the initial introduction, and thanks to Dr. Rao, he ran with it, and that's all approved, and it should be in place by the end of the year. So there are things I'm sure each of you working at different companies and your spheres of influence, right? So think about that. Really, we just want to start the process of engaging with each of you and your other colleagues, here in Silicon Valley.
But our appeal is very simple, right? Our appeal is 100% participation,
Yeah.
if possible,
Actually, that's a good point. Yeah.
right? And Yathashakti, give what you can give. That's it.
so we need one
That's
person,
it.
one
It's very
person.
simple. Everybody
Yeah.
give if you can, give what you can. If we can get there, it will be fantastic. Right? It will be a very long road.
The more the
But that will be
merrier.
the simple approach.
Right. But can we get one person from each batch somehow? Get them by the scruff of their neck
Yeah,
and brainwash them, whatever.
No, it's already been created. There is an ambassador from each batch. There is an ambassador, by the way, from each batch, which has already been created. These guys are really have worked on the infrastructure to make sure that it's possible. Only thing I want to close with is, like I think everybody's saying, we need everybody to participate. We want to make sure this is a grassroots effort. This $1 million which you're talking about raising it will go into many different programs. BitsConnect is only one of them. And the idea here is to, everybody should become the participate in this campaign with us to go and communicate to all your 10 or 20 friends and spread this word around. So I think we can make this very successful because the timing is very short. Let me give the time for the BitsConnect 2.0. We want to start somewhere in the January timeframe. I want to finish it before the semester ends so that it can really take into in action when the next year starts, which is in July.
First semester. First semester 2012, right?
So we have about 7-8 months time frame. So it's very critical that this word spreads around, and you are going to see a lot of information coming out from the anywhere you want to participate. Please come and join us, whether it's BitsConnect 2.0 or other programs which is Vijay talked about.
So there will be a Bridges to the Future kickoff letter that will go out.
This is the same thing as BitsConnect, right? Bridges.
It's part of it.
BitsConnect is like
This is the bigger umbrella.
Okay.
Umbrella is BitsConnect.
Right.
Bridges to the Future, and many projects. BitsConnect is a very key flagship infrastructure project. Okay? So there will be many other projects identified. There's a letter that will go out. Rohit, where are you?
Sorry.
So when is the letter going to go out?
I think on 15th.
The 15th of November is that what I'm being promised is like the target date for this letter to go out. That'll document what it is, what the projects are, what the things are that have changed, meaning the infrastructure changes that we talked about with the advisory committee, the transparency with the new administration and all of that stuff. And how do you give? 100% tax deductible in the US, 100% tax deductible in India. Other countries will get there. We'll get there, right? We'll eat the elephant one mouthful at a time. So that's how we start. Look out for this letter. Tell your friends. Give what you can. That's how it all starts.
The dinner will be ready, I think, in about less than 5 minutes. So, we can certainly continue the conversation.
Are we going to see something? I mean,
yeah.